Hi and welcome back. This tutorial it's about the camel pose. So let's begin. If you have a mat, you are going to roll the mat on the long side, and that we call it a thick roll. And the roll is about between 5 and 6 inches. You can also use a towel for this. Let me show you. You're going to find your lumbar vertebrae L5 by placing your hands on top of your hips, and then you're going to slice your thumbs to the middle of your spine. And if you press there, you find the 5th lumbar vertebrae. Now here you see it very clearly where you are going to place the roll, exactly between your pelvis and your rib cage. The thick roll will stretch your entire lower back. Just have a look at the skeleton. In green now is the 1st lumbar vertebrae, the 2nd lumbar vertebrae, the 3rd one. Now I'm clicking on the 4th one, and the last one is the 5th one. That's the right hip, and in between the right hip and your sacrum you have the SI joint, the sacroiliac joint. So this entire area will be stretched by using the thick roll, and the thick roll is always good to do if you have problems with your lower back, if you feel pain or discomfort after a whole day sitting and working or standing for that matter. So I hope that by showing you the skeleton, it makes it a little bit more anatomical clear where you need to place the thick roll, so in between your rib cage and your pelvic area. That is where you're going to place the roll. The roll should be firm, so nothing too flat, because it will not support your back properly. So as you see, mine is very tight and it's very firm. You lean first on your elbows and then you lift up your pelvis. As soon as you lift up your pelvis, you feel that connection of your ribs with your abdomen. Pelvic floor is active and the transverse abdominal is active. So you can keep it active, spread your elbows, and then you can slowly lay down, placing the back of your head and the shoulders on the mat, and you can bring your hands on your lower ribs. Keep the connection between your lower back and the roll light in the beginning. And then do as if you are going to lift your feet. This increases the pressure on your vertebrae. Feel the contraction of your stomach muscles as a result. The upper stomach muscles are important for keeping your ribs low during this exercise. Very slowly, paying attention to the relaxation that develops in your lower back, allow your pelvis to lower until your tailbone touches the floor. If it cannot reach the floor, keep the pelvis as low as possible so you feel the firm pressure. This can be in the beginning a little bit painful, but that pain should disappear within 30 to 60 seconds. Now lift your pelvis and repeat this downward movement slowly until the movement starts to feel a little bit more free. And then you can repeat the upward movement and the downward movement for another 5 times. But you can repeat it for as long as you want. Bringing your knees and ankles together and slowly rotate your legs to the right to bring your body weight onto the muscles in the right side of your spine. Imagine the clock. You are going to bring your knees to 1 o'clock to begin with, and you are repeating the same movement to the left, bringing the knees to 11 o'clock. These muscles in the lower back are responsible for the stiffness in your back. So when you bring your legs to the right or to the left, try to exhale toward that spot in the lower back and allow the muscles to become heavier with each exhalation. And just stay on the left side for another inhalation. And then slowly rotate your legs to the center and to repeat once again to the right on an exhalation. Keep repeating that movement to the right and to the left, to 1 o'clock and to 11 o'clock for as long as you need. Trying to keep the feet together, knees together, feet well grounded, so that you feel the stretch in the lumbar area. When this rotation starts to develop, it will increase the pressure on the side you are moving towards with your legs and cause the spine on the other side to arch more and eventually come off the roll a little bit. It's not a movement that you need to make, it just happens by the stretching. It is important to try to keep your feet on the floor to increase the stretch and the arch. Now becoming a little bit more aware of your breathing. With your next exhalation, you're going to rotate very slowly your knees and see how far you can come with your knees, placing your ankles together, and yes, your feet are going to tilt a little bit if you are able to bring the knees so far to the right. And try to exhale to that area once again, becoming aware of the pressure as well as the extension on the other side. Now pressing the right knee against your left knee, come back in the center, and to repeat the same thing to the left. On the exhalation, very slowly, bring the knees to the left. Remain aware of your breathing, not trying to force the movement, and not trying to move very fast either. And you will notice that on one side, the rotation movement is a little bit more free than the other side. As long as you keep repeating this, both sides will start to feel more equal and more free. Pressing the left knee against your right knee to come back in the center, very slowly. Take a deep inhale towards your chest and place your feet now hip width. And with your next inhalation, you're going to start lifting up your pelvis very slowly, allowing the lower back to become heavy on the roll. And from here, press from the inside of your feet, the inside of your legs, your pelvis all the way up to the ceiling. Now allowing also the pressure to move towards your neck and shoulders, and keeping the knees in line with your hips. Placing the roll flat under your pelvis, or you can also take it with one hand away. Grab your yoga mat with both hands, pull with your arms and your hands on your yoga mat and press your feet even more on the mat, feeling that strength on the inside of your legs, but also feeling the strength in the lower back, in the whole midline of your body. Try to relax your gluteus to give a little bit more strength to the posture muscles in your lower back. And then on an exhalation, you can roll your vertebrae one by one, keeping the natural curve in your lower back as you place your pelvis back on the mat. Kneel with your knees hip-width apart on the felt mat and push your fist against your tailbone. Move your lower ribs towards the arch of your lower back to activate your inner tube, the area under your fist. Your tailbone moves away from your lower back. Using the strength of your inner core and your abdominals, come back and then step forward with your right leg. Your right foot should be slightly in front of your right knee. With your right thumb, press your right hip down. Press your fist against your tailbone once again. Move your lower ribs slightly back and feel how your tailbone moves away from your lower back when you contract the lower abdominal muscles 1 inch under your navel. This activation of your abdominal muscles should be light. Keep your tailbone heavy and breathe deeply into your lower abdomen. Bend your right leg slowly until you feel an intense stretch in the front of your left hip. Breathing into this area will help you to dissolve the tension there. Now, to come back, you press your right foot to come back, trying to keep the abdominals active, and repeat the previous movement, pressing your tailbone, bending backwards, using the abdominals to come back, step forward with your left foot, and repeat the same movement with the left leg. Feeling again how your tailbone moves away from your lower back as you bring your lower ribs slightly to the back. Now, coming on your hands and knees, allowing the lower back to sink, but keeping your abdominals active, bring your heels towards your sit bones. And you're going to lower your pelvis to the floor. It's the same movement that the vertebrae make when you move to the camel pose. Keeping the abdominals, bring the toes back on the floor and press yourself to downward dog. To repeat once again, on your knees, letting go of the buttocks, but not letting go of the abdominals. Point your feet and then bring the back of your head in direction of your feet. Repeat the downward dog, stretching, breathing towards your chest, bring the knees down, and once again, point the feet. Allow the lower back to relax as soon as you feel the strength of your arms. Do not relax your abdominals. Bring the feet now on the mat for the upward facing dog and see if you can send your head even further back. Using the abdominals, coming back on all fours, and sit for a second on your heels. Now, before we move on to the camel pose, I want to show you another version that you can also try at home. If you don't have the headstander, you can also use a chair. Place your feet between the legs of your chair, hold the legs and curl your toes. You're going to sit on your heels. With one inhalation, you're going to start using your hamstrings to push your pelvis and thighs forward in a very powerful way, trying to keep the buttocks muscles relaxed and your abdominal muscles engaged. Keep looking forward for now to keep the neck soft and relaxed. And in that way you keep your concentration in the strength of your abdominals and coming back slowly. Now, you can repeat that as many times as you want, and when you get the hang of it, you can also try to lower your hands on the legs of the chair. And when you start feeling more confident about this movement, then you can start releasing the head to the back. Now, it is time to do it from sitting on your feet. In a fluid total movement, on an inhalation, push your feet, your toes into the floor to lift your body up and forward. Use your hamstrings to push your pelvis and thighs forward. Your chest lifts with each inhalation. Try to come back by bringing the head back first, then sitting on your heels very slowly. Now this time we're going to try to bring the hands in front of the chest in Namaste, and we are going to try to return using the abdominals and keeping the head in the back. The head should be the last part of your body to return. So keep pressing your toes on the mat and keep pressing your tailbone forward. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and your practice of Camel Pose. Thank you for watching.